Hello there. Um, I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I think it's been about 4 months since my last one, the Roller Coaster Tycoon. Um, Unfortunately, for YouTube at least, I got heavily distracted with life. I was doing other stuff, including getting retrained at college. So most of my time, energy, and attention is getting retrained. I'm looking to become a teaching assistant into a full-time teacher. So I put all my time, energy, and effort into doing that. Um, I've been looking to play other random sort of smaller games that don't take much time, energy, or effort, things that I could just drop in and out of. Roller Coaster Tycoon, though I love the game, I've been playing it since I was a little kid. You need to dedicate several hours to each, especially when it comes to recording for YouTube. You need to put several hours into both playing and then editing. So um, I do want to make uh, more YouTube videos around Roller Coaster Tycoon. They will come eventually. But in the meantime, I found this on the Steam page and I've been playing it on and off for the past couple of weeks. And it's grabbed me in much the same way that Supermarket Simulator has. And even the trading card game. I thought that was a pretty good one as well. I really like this. It's simplistic and yet at the same time, not complicated in terms of the way that you play it, in terms of your introduction to the game. Supermarket Simulator can be a little overwhelming as you play the game. This hasn't got to that point yet. I'll get to that in a sec. But in terms of the Supermarket Simulator, there's so many produce to go through and licenses and expansions and needing to save money and all this kinds of stuff, and it's just very slow and heavy and you need to dedicate some time to playing it. But with this, you could just let a day run out and you barely do anything. I'm going to actually play a game, a session in a sec, just to show you. But the starting location where I currently am has been criticized as being too small. So I gave myself a little challenge to see if I could try and fit everything that the game offers into the game into the starting location just to see if I can get it to work and make it a successful store. You'll also see that there's a little cat climbing frame in front of me. The game does have cats. It does have other sellables, but the other sellables are very limiting at the moment. For instance, if we go into the actual licenses, I've got everything, by the way. There are 3 locations. Each location has its own unique licenses. You need to go to those locations, level up your shop level. The player level is the collective level across all 3 shops. So it doesn't reset or anything between each. So this is 24, that is 24 of 48. The other 2 locations add to this number. That does seem to be confusing people, but it isn't, right? Nothing resets when you go to different locations. So you just expand to different locations, and each location, if you then give it a manager, so if I just quickly show you, there's like a little manager seat and then you can hire a manager. If you're not at a particular location with a manager and you're somewhere else, as long as this store has a manager or the other location has one, and you are not at those locations, they will generate income, like a passive income. This income is based on how many books you have, how many cash registers you have, how many employees you have, and how many cats you have in those particular locations. These can be abused. You can just like dump a bunch of cats here and then get slightly more passive income. But if you just play the game properly, you don't need to do that. The game doesn't have a huge need for money at the moment. It's not limiting. It's just missing things. But the core game structure is there. There's a slight issue with the game when it comes to stuttering. I don't know why the game suddenly freezes for like a second or two and then it unfreezes and your character zips because you was holding down the controls. It's a bit weird. It's a bit jarring when the game keeps doing it, and I don't know if there's a memory leak, but it gets worse and worse over like an hour period of play. The easiest fix to that, if you are experiencing it, is to just save the game, turn it off, and reload it. It clears out the memory. I think there's a slight memory leak issue problem with the game. I would say if it was my issue on my end, but a lot of people are putting that forward as a problem with the game currently. So if you experience it yourself, just save and reload the game. Um, let's get into this. So the game is very simple. The customers, they don't have a preference. There's a little bit of preference there. The devs have put something in play to make sure that they do buy books, but they don't really have a preference. So in other words, it doesn't generate a character that only wants manga, that only wants comic books. Um, they are working to fix that. They are looking to actually expand upon these. The game does have another sort of passive income structure as well. When you open up used books, you get these randomly. These are little passive things like traits that you can have. Currently, you can only have three, so you can have this. This needs to be smaller. This is way too big, but you can have like two books here and then one little pedestal book here. And they're great. 30% increased employee speed, so they move and put books on the shelf 30% faster. The employees themselves, they level up to, I think each one is like 20. So every time one gets to 20, you then need to promote, and then it allows the increase of levels. But every time you do that, they go up in daily wage. So you have to give them more money each day. So it's completely on you. If you've got no problems with your staff at that particular speed, you don't need to promote them. Like the game's little structure is that it's up to you. If you think that the staff is doing adequate, in other words, you think that they're perfectly fine, their speed that they're going at is perfectly fine, then you don't need to promote them. Just leave them alone. Or if you think that they're too slow, then let them level up to 20 and then promote, and then level up again and then promote. Each level, I don't know if it's like an addition or a multiplier, but every level that they get, they do increase a small amount of speed, and you actively see that as they go along. So if let's just say that they're level 15, and then at the end of the day they go up to level 20, you actually see the difference between the 15 speed and 20. So it's notable, like it's impactful to allow these the staff to actually level up. The same thing is with your regular staff, that they stock things on the shelves. And the great thing about this is that if you are stocking stuff onto the shelves yourself, you are preventing your staff from being able to do it. So you're preventing them from getting XP. So if you just let the staff do it for you, they will get slowly faster day after day, to the point that they could now outpace you. And then so that's the sort of passivity of the game. It starts off slow, especially with the staff, and as time goes on, because the staff are constantly leveling up, your need to stock shelves become less and less, because your staff are getting better and better. I like that, because it allows me to customize my staff. I absolutely love that. There is one slight comment I will make about the staff. They don't seem to prioritize new stock. So if you buy stock and then it appears outside, they prioritize stocking stock that you already have in the store. I get where they're going with that. They want you to prioritize stuff that you already have over the stuff that might appear. But the problem is that as you go along, you've got boxes outside the store, and the game doesn't register that in the game's sort of stocked things. So you'll go to your stock and you'll look at the stock values and you'll see that you're really low, but you've already purchased some and they're outside the store. And if you don't go out there to check each individual box that's outside the store, you don't actually know what you have in stock, because your staff are not going out and collecting it, and it's just sitting out there. And the only reason why they would go out there is if your store runs out of stock. It seems backwards. It seems like the priority stuff that's outside needs to be priority. I have commented about this on the forum to let them know that I think that this is a little bit backwards. I think they need to prioritize stuff that goes outside and then put it on the internal shelves after they've used it. But just pay attention to that. If you notice that your stock's going down inside your store, just look outside your store. Just see if there's any boxes out there. What's that noise? I think it's the cat. But either way. So just a comment on that. If you do order stuff, make sure that you look outside your store before you go and order more. Um, I have found a little trick. It works on this store. I doubt it works on the bigger ones because this store is very small. So I am going to play out a day and I'm going to show you my experience with this. This store has got all licenses. I've fit everything in. Um, the developers, they are adding multiplayer and a separate cafe. The cafe apparently is going to not actually be inside the store itself. It's going to be an additional location. So you'd actually be able to run it. So you can run the cafe while your friend runs the bookstore, for instance. That is planned. They are doing that. That is coming, but at the moment it isn't. It isn't in the game at the time of this video. So yeah, there's these books that I mentioned, and then at the end of the day, when you press enter, they add the bonuses. So this records the amount of passive income that you got from those books during the day. So this actually tells you how much extra money you got by book association. These are the 2 locations as well. So these have got managers. So there's 3 locations. The devs know that people really want more locations in the game. They are adding them. For some reason, everybody is asking them in droves for a London-based shop location. I don't know why they added 2 France locations without adding, because apparently the devs are American, from what I can find out. Why there's no American location, I don't know or understand that logic. But apparently London's coming next because that's the most anticipated location. So yeah, whatever. So I'm currently in Lyon, so I didn't get anything because I'm here in this location. But I got passive income from Japan of 1.2k and only 400. I will actually show you and explain why this is low compared to this, even though they both are pretty good stores. But either way, I'm not going to show you my Japan location because I don't really think that it's a good layout. It's not really interesting or inviting. I still haven't even got all the upgrades to that location, so I'm gonna leave that one. But I will show the other location, the Paris one. So I'm just gonna let a day play out, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna be doing with the scanning tool. I'm gonna show you the layouts that I've chose and how I can get away with not having any stock in the store. So if we go into the store, I can quickly just run around and show you. Everything is in. Everything that's currently in the game. All the unlocked licenses, everything is on the shelf. People have commented and complained that the start location isn't big enough. And I set myself a little challenge to see if I could to try to get everything within the start location. And not only was I successful, I fit the manager as well as the book stands in here without it, you know, being hideous in terms of the look of it. People, when it comes to games like this, they tend to go corn row. So they'll structure the shelves, you know, like in a row next to each other all the way through. I've gone with a more sort of welcoming approach. I managed to even fit this in. I was not expecting to fit this in because it's quite a large thing. You get these when you open up used books. I will explain used books at the end, but generally speaking, you do need to open used books. The game is pretty shit at actually selling used books. The devs know this. They even found a bug with the used books and the way that customers are interacting with them. They are looking into changing up the way used books are, so I'll explain all that towards the end, but I'll basically show you what I do in this little bookstore. So in each shelf, I've got 2 to every 1 book. So each book comes in a box of 10, and each shelf can store 15 books. So that's 15 plus 15, that's 30. So that's 3 boxes. So when you actually look at the shelf, you can see that it's 10 and 10. There's space here. And using the scanner, all I do is just walk around the store and I look to see if it's less than 20 between the 2 shelves. And because it is, I then click and buy. And what this basically does is the box then gets fully used and she won't drop it on the floor. She'll just dump it on the floor. So she'll put out every single book. Right? And then throw the box away. So there's no litter. And because I do that, I can monitor every single book in the game, every single comic book and everything as well. And I don't need any internal storage. And because I don't need internal storage, I can actually design the store to look good. The devs know this. And they are adding in storage to this location. It's one of the most requested things about this location. People have been asking, could you please put a bloody storage thing in this location? I do agree it does need one. The limiting space is, it's too small. This store is too small. A lot of people do want to actually store things in their store. But the way that I'm currently playing, I've got around that by doing what I've just explained in terms of looking to see if it adds up to 30. And if it's less than 20, I can buy. So we go from shelf to shelf. So we just add these 2 numbers together. It's higher than 20. I don't buy. If it's less than 20, 8. So this is 18, 10 and 8. So then I just buy. Then I do the same below. 9 and 12. Well, that's 1 over 20. So I don't buy. And then I just do that. I go around the store looking to see if it's less than 20. So there's less than 20. Or it's actually 20. And that's the way we do it. These corner shelves as well, each shelf itself adds 12, not 10. So it goes from 15 plus 12 plus 12. What you can do is just leave it as these 2 and then put a new book here. It's up to you, but whatever. But I've just decided to do that. So we then add them together. And this is like there's going to be left over if I do that. So I'm not going to do that. Down here, yeah, we can only get 1 box. 10 and then 2 and then there's only like 3 spaces left. So that's 5 and then 6, 7. So that's 7. If that makes sense. But either way. So 8 and 12, that means I can actually fit 1 box of books there. So we'll buy that. Yeah, you're in my way. Go away. Stop buying books. Yeah, we can buy a box there. Can't buy a box there. Yep. We just do this. So that this is how you run the store now. You just go around, and if there's 10 books missing off the shelf, you buy. So I know 12 can fit here, and there's 2 left, so we can. Could buy another box. There's 4 there, and there's 10 missing here, so we can just do that anyway. 1 box will fit there, and then another box won't fit there. It's, you know, space-wise. So I'm just explaining this because the current implementation, of the game is that you need storage, and this start location is terrible for the floor space. You just can't get any form of storage. But it is possible to have every book out, to have a sensible amount on the shelves, including manga. So you got 2 lots of manga. There's only 8 manga books currently in the game, and they all fit on 1 shelf. You don't need to have 2 shelves. You can get away with just 1. But you do need obviously 2 of these, because there's currently 6 comic books in the game, and 1 box has got 20 in it. Each slot is 5, so 5, 10, 15, 20. So if you want to use up the box without needing to store the comic books, you need to wait until this gets like really low. There's only 4 left in that. I don't want to buy it for that. But you just keep checking. And the moment the shelf is empty, buy a new box, and then all the comics will go out. And there won't be any remaining. But yeah, you can run this store without a single storage unit of any description. I would recommend, by the way, that you get a cashier at the beginning of the game when you first load up. They're inexpensive, but they are so slow when you first get them. And it takes a while for them to level up. So we got to 20. Oh no, we're 19. We're nearly at 20. But either way, get a cashier at the beginning of the game. Because by the time you get to like day 20, she'll be a lot higher level, and there won't be a huge queue. Oh yeah, the cats. You do need to feed them. I don't know what the function is of a cat. I personally wouldn't allow animals in a bookstore. Allergies do exist. You don't want cats in stores. Especially dogs. People are allergic. So, yeah, I don't really know why they added cats. It's a little bit strange. But each cat only registers as, like, in the store, you would think, with beds and adequate, you know, litter trays and food. The game doesn't care for that if you're just trying to get additional income. They are fixing this and changing it, so get it in your head to do it this way. Currently, the cats are being abused by a lot of players, as animals often are in human world, where you just put a crap ton of cats into each location, and then each cat gives additional passive income whilst you're at other locations. So it's a way to sort of abuse a bit of extra money from the game, from the passive income. Don't do that. You're ruining your own fucking gameplay experience by doing that. But either way. So it's just peaceful. You can just let this run. I like this. There was a lot of explaining. It's 20 minutes long. The reason why I decided to go into an actual sort of review thing of the game currently is because I genuinely am enjoying the game. I was not expecting to enjoy it. It's a bookstore. Not much happens. Not really much can be done in terms of like selling books and stuff. But the devs know this, and they are adding all different kinds of stuff. Like I said, they're adding a cafe for a start. The game's gonna take an interesting turn, especially when they add multiplayer. I can't wait. I got a good friend of mine who loves books. She constantly reads books. And she's really looking forward to... You know, I'm just going to do that. She's really looking forward to the multiplayer aspect of this game as well, because she can run the bookstore while I run the cafe when they add it. So that's going to be really cool. I get to hang out with a good friend, playing a game that, you know, she really loves to enjoy, and I get to chill in the background, running a cafe. It's a very inviting experience, and I shouldn't have done that. There's going to be a box on the floor now. But either way, whatever. I can get away with that. And that. Very peaceful. There is music, but just to fucking put it out there, there is music that you can have for the game. It's not that inviting. I'd recommend that you mute it and listen to your own music. See how slow she is? Because I didn't get her at the beginning, so she's like really low level and slow. But either way, the music isn't that interesting to listen to, unfortunately. We'll see. They might update the music library for the game at some point, but at the same time, mute it. Put your own music on. Not every aspect of the game can be amazing. You know what I mean? So. Either way, it is possible to have all licenses in the start location. And it's possible, and I'll put it this way. This has only been possible because of the addition of the scanner. This was really annoying to do. Before the scanner was added. The scanner was only added the other day. The reason why I say that it's annoying is because the alternate way of doing it, so the scanner, you just quickly click and whatever. So before the scanner came along, you had to go over to the bookstore, go in, find the book. Which one was it? See, I already fucking failed. Ego and Bigotry. So you'd then have to find the book, Ego and Bigotry, and then you'd have to say how many you want, and then click buy, and then close it. But this way, you just click and order. Ugh, it's so much better. It's a fun little game. And I'm really intrigued to see how they improve it. I'm looking forward to see what they do with the cafe as well. Because obviously, you're basically doubling the inventory stock. You're running a new store. So it basically doubles the amount of items that are in the game. Damn, someone bought that expensive book. Nice. But yeah. Nice little bookshop simulator. Again, if you want to go to a different location, make sure you have a manager seat in the store. And yeah, we'll just wait for them to finish. They finished. Cool. And we end the day. There we go. You see it's like really low. I'm going to show you that right now. I'm going to go there and I'm not going to do a day. I'm just going to show you around the store because I was intrigued. The used books. Okay, so I did say I was going to explain this at the end. The used books currently are fucking useless. And I want to swear because I got so annoyed when... Because I was really looking forward to the used books. I was like, okay, cool, this is cool. This is a cool addition to the game. But customer after customer kept just ignoring used books constantly. And they don't seem to go to it. Okay, so currently this is the way that it works. A customer comes in. They are looking for a particular book. Let's say it's a book called AFK Girl, which is what I currently have stocked in this store. Let's say that I have that on the shelf. The customer will walk past the used book section and head straight for the AFK Girl book. And there's one particular reason why. The way that used books are stored on the shelf is the way that they get it off the shelf. And I'll show this more when I go to the other store, but at the moment I just want to get you to understand this. So a customer will go to a shelf. They can't get AFK Girl from that shelf, even though it's on the fucking shelf. So they ignore the shelf and go to the location where AFK Girl is being sold brand new, even though they could have got it used on another shelf. The devs know this. They know that it's a fault with the shelves and the way that customers interact with used books. But what it basically means is that used books currently are useless, completely useless. Customers will probably buy maybe 2 or 3 books. That's it, of the used book section. And that's like 62 customers. Maybe 2 customers out of that 62 bought a used book. And the reason why is because they couldn't find the book that they wanted in the used book section. So if I now show you the used books, these are used books. So the way that it works, so okay, here we go. AFK Girl. It's right there. It's on the used book section. And it's here. A customer will come in. They know AFK Girl is on this shelf, but they will never buy from this shelf if they're looking for AFK Girl. And the reason being is because the customer has to buy in order of what book they can take off the shelf first. So if we go to this, a customer needs to look for the girl with the Hydra tattoo first. You see that? So no customer can buy AFK Girl on this shelf, even though there's 2 copies on it. The only way that they can is if this goes down and reaches AFK Girl, because it's in order. There's no way to change this. There's no way to interact with this. A customer literally cannot interact with this shelf to get AFK Girl off it. The devs know this. I think that's the bug that they're talking about. Where in terms of customers interacting with the shelf, they literally can't. So the only person that can buy from this shelf is if a customer is looking for this book. And if we look down here, a customer has actually purchased a book from this location. And this is the reason why used books are not selling. Because customers cannot interact with the shelf. They can only buy what is in the first slot. So let's say I want to get The Return of the Blinking. They've got comedy names for all their books, by the way. Let's say they want this book, so they come to the shelf and, oh, I can only get The Astrology Killer. Well, I don't want that book. I want this book. Oh, can't get it. Can't get it. Doesn't matter. I can't get this book. That's the reason why used books currently suck. Customers just cannot interact with them. So if you want to get used books, put only a few shelves of used books. So I had a huge space here, so I just dumped them there. And there's also some space over here that I had. I'm just going to get rid of these if they add new books and they haven't fixed used books. So I'll just delete these 2 and then put the new book on the shelf instead. They are looking into fixing used books. But in the meantime, what I decided to do instead was set up a location where they don't sell new books and it only sells used books. So if I go to that location, which is in Paris, this is also bugged when you come here. For some reason, you're looking up at the sky. I don't know why, but whatever. So we go in. This entire book store has been laid out in such a way that it's used books, comic books, and manga only. Well, there's these as well. These bookmarks that you can also get, as well as some chocolates. A couple of bits of chocolates. I don't know why they added in chocolates. I wouldn't want sweets in a bookstore, thank you. Either way, whatever. It might be the fact that the sweets weren't designed for, the bookstore, where they was designed as sort of initial products for the cafe. The moment the cafe comes, I am taking these bloody chocolates out of my stores. But either way. So no new books are actually in this store. And I do actually shift quite a lot of used books. It does seem that the more used books that you have out, the more chances you will have of a customer finding a book that they actually want. Because there's now more locations. So it looks like I have Attempting the Art of French Cooking, Bluebirds and Spam, Jane Land, sorry. I think it's supposed to be Jane Eyre. So Air, Land, comedy book versions, whatever. And then you got the Celsius, which is Fahrenheit. Haha. Away with the Breeze, Lonesome Pigeon. So as you can see, there is already more book choice than the other store. And because I've got as many out as possible, they are more likely to find a used book that they would like. So the more shelves that you have, the more useful used books actually are. And I've been able to make a very successful store without selling a single new book. There's no new books here. This is all used books, comic books, and manga. Each manga has its own shelf because I've got so much space. See what I mean? We got loads of space, and it's really nice. I got a little bit of internal storage. This does run out, so this is the used books that I put. So used books, this is getting a little bit longer in the video, but so the way that you do used books is that you start off with default, and then you go to the next France location or the Japan location. And I don't know if each one has its own type of speciality book. For instance, in this one, I have customers who buy a comic book, buy an additional one, which is really nice because I sell a lot of comic books here. There's a lot of comic books. So customers will buy 2 comic books, which is really nice. Game 1, I don't know, I think it's called BLEP, the currency in this game, but whatever. Every time a customer passes in front of the shop. So as you can see, every time a customer walks past the door, at the top right, it gives me 1 currency. So boom, +1, which is really nice. It's again, it's another form of passive income. And then you get stuff like this as well, 5% sale bonus. So every time you make a sale, it doesn't add it to the actual sale. It's a separate bonus that is added at the end of sale. So whatever the sale is, like, this isn't increasing the books by 5%. You just get 5% of whatever that sale is. So let's just say that they buy 97 pounds worth of books. They take it to the desks, they pay the 97, and then the game gives you 5% of that on top. That's the way that works. Like, you don't have to adjust the fucking store prices. You go, oh, 5%? Oh no, do I have to change these prices? No, you don't have to mess with them. 50% employee speed, really nice. 5% discount in apps, and we can see that here when I go to buy used books. So it's 5%. These are 150 each. And the way that you do it is that you buy used books. For some reason, in this location, it's a truck. In the other location, it just spawns them outside. But I don't know what the devs are doing by having that as an interactable. But either way, so you open up the used books. They might change the speed at this, because this is something that comments have been made about, is that it takes too long to open them. There's no way to speed this up. You can't actually speed this up. But every time you open up a box, there's a chance of you getting a rare book. And in this particular case, it's a sellable rare book worth 214 pounds. I know the game's in like bleps, but I'm going to call it pounds. And then you set it to market price plus 10%, round it, and there you go. I haven't messed with the percentages. I just leave it as default 10% with rounding. But yeah, it's up to you to mess with if you decide to play this game. But I really like this game. It is so chill. It is so chill. Let's see if we can actually get anything. So we've got another rare book. But this is how you get those other books as well that give you a passive income or whatever, or increase like staff speed and things. This is the way that you get those books. But the problem is, because people aren't buying used books, these books, you'll have to throw them away, because unless you just endlessly store them on the shelving, it becomes problematic, because you're just going to end up with a huge amount of used books being stored. And the only real way of being able to deal with it is that you have to just delete all of these by getting the box, going over to the bin, and throwing the entire box away. The devs know this. They are looking into changing this and fixing it. But at the moment, that's the way they're going to have to deal with it. However, if you want to play the game with used books, open up a used bookstore. It seems to be working. Like, I actually make a lot of profit playing this area. I really like the fact that I don't have to sell the actual books, because in other games they complain that they can't find this or they can't find that. Customers in this game, they don't do that. They don't complain that they couldn't find this book or they couldn't find that. They just go in. If they can't find it, they'll just try and find something else instead, which is really nice. You do lose sales, obviously, because you're not selling the thing that they're looking for. But at the same time, that there's no complaint like in other games. You know how like you don't have a license to certain things, and then the customer comes in, tries to find that thing, and then they just leave. It feels like a useless customer, right? This game doesn't have that. There's no complaints department. There's no HR department in this game. Um, but yeah, really love it. Nice, peaceful, relaxed. Again, there's cats and everything else. The reason why the passive amount is so low in this location, I'm only getting like 300, 400 on the passive, where the other location, the Japan location, is getting 1,500. The Japan location has all the new books. This doesn't. It's based on I don't know how they do it in terms of like the calculation, but it's based on the amount of books that you have in the store, the amount of cash registers you have, and the amount of employees, and the cats. So if you have more cats, more employees, more cash registers, then you get more passive income. I don't think it counts used books at all. It doesn't matter how many used books you put out. It doesn't add to the passive. So if you want more passive income from each location, put out the more expensive books. It's as simple as that. That's how the logic works. But yeah, really like this game. Really like this game. 42-minute video of me talking about a game from a very sort of affectionate way, because I didn't expect this game to grab me, and it did. And I've explained. Now, I'm not going to make another video for this. Maybe at the London location. I'll have a little playthrough of me going through London. But, yeah. Absolutely fantastic game. I have been loving it. It's been keeping me distracted while I've been at college. Yeah, I'm trying to retrain to become a teacher, so, or at least teaching assistant for now. But either way, thank you all for watching. I hope you understand why I've not uploaded Roller Coaster Tycoon. I will get back to making those at some point. I don't know if it'll be this side of Christmas. But yeah, I've been streaming this as well. I've been, whatever. I'll probably stream Roller Coaster Tycoon at some point. But yeah, Bookshop Simulator. Highly recommend it. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.